Now, the funeral ceremony for the first female Nobel Laureate from Africa, Wangari Maathai, is set for Saturday at Uhuru Park in Nairobi, Kenya. A tree planting ceremony will also be held tomorrow to commemorate her life. Now, we do have Gabe Joselow, who is our correspondent there in Kenya, and he's going to give us some update on the proceedings, at least, that we expect will happen tomorrow during the cremation of Wangari Maathai. Gabe, thanks for joining us. Tell us what kind of mood is right now in Kenya.
Well, you know, it's been a very reflective mood, I'd say, ever since it was announced that Maathai had died a couple weeks ago. You know, throughout the city, they've set up places where people can come to sign condolence books. As you know, there were 2 days of mourning for her, so the flags were at half-mast. But I wouldn't say it's the most somber mood. People come to the parks and to the forests that she helped to save, and they remember her and they really celebrate her legacy more than anything else. Even people who didn't necessarily know a whole lot about Wangari Maathai, some of the young people or people from out of town, out of country, still appreciate the parks, and so it's been more a celebration, I should say, and we'll see what the ceremony is like tomorrow.
You know, she's been accorded quite an honor. I believe she's like the third person to be given such kind of a recognition and even a state burial. But I guess what is unusual here is that she's been cremated, which I imagine is causing quite an interesting reaction there in Kenya too.
Yeah, that's true. Cremation is not an ordinary or normal thing for people to do after they die here in Kenya, not for the most part. Among the Hindu populations, you see it, but among African Kenyans especially, it is unusual. So there was a little bit of controversy about that decision. One of her friends told me that it was very important to her that she be cremated. One of the reasons is that as an environmentalist, as somebody who especially was interested in saving trees, she didn't want any wood to be used for a coffin that would bury her. And so she did choose this path to be cremated, but they are arranging so that people can come and say their final goodbyes to her body during the ceremony tomorrow to sort of balance out between those who were upset that the body would eventually be destroyed. And then the ashes are actually going to be interred at the center named after her at the University of Nairobi.
Gabe, I want to sneak in a quick question before you go, and that is I'm curious about how people maybe are appreciating her really. She was just a normal person who I guess would be seen walking in the streets of Nairobi very casually. Yet now it must be hitting a lot of people that, wow, this is a worldly, a globally renowned person.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that was what she was really known for, is being able, is on one hand having this elite status within the sort of Kenyan government, and at the same time being able to come down to the level of ordinary people. And that really is her legacy. So, but you're right. I mean, for a long time, she was sort of not respected so much by the figures in the government, especially during the regime of President Daniel Arap Moi. And at the same time, she was earning a lot of international recognition. Then, in the last few years of her life, and certainly after she won the Nobel Prize, that international recognition did come to her, and it all sort of came full circle.
Well, thank you so much, Gabe Joselow, for joining us all the way from Nairobi.